eModels.co.uk. Make something awesome.
Shut up and sit down.
Hello gang, Colin here, Festa 67's workshop, and welcome to part 4 of the eModels build up of the Suzuki Ecstar GSX-RR 2020. And we're going to be doing the engine, swing arm, the wheels and the front end assembly, folks. So we got the engine here that I've been fettling around with and doing a little bit of brush painting on some certain detail parts as per the instructions there. I've just been round and painted some of the hoses, the oil filter and bits and bobs like that. All the call outs for this are in the instructions of the kit, and the paints that I've been using are all listed in there as well, folks, all of which have been kindly supplied by the guys at eModels. So pop over and have a look at eModels.co.uk. You can grab one of these kits to build along with me. The link is in the description. And you too can be joining Festa. And look at this. Got a nice gold airbox about to go on. So we'll just put a little dab of extra fin in there and start the process of getting that glued in place. And we painted these all up in the last episode, folks. So yeah, all dried off rather nicely. I've left it a good few days. Normally I leave it a week for everything to dry, and I keep everything in different sealable tubs just to stop the dust and detritus. And when I've been using the lacquers, I have a little fan on the side that I just run off a battery, and it basically vents all the air out of the box, lets everything gas off nicely. So we got that all glued in, so we'll just put that at the back there and let that settle down. And we'll have a looky-loo at what bits and bobs we can get on the bike. So I'll just drop me frame off me jig, get that out of the way. And we'll have the engine and that ready to go in the frame, which just tucks up underneath like so. All the screws are in the relevant areas of the instructions. So when you grab your screws, you can lay them on the instructions and you'll see that you've got the right size screw. And then obviously this screwdriver's a bit magnetic, so you can then just pop your screws in to start mounting your engine like so. Just give that a twist. Try not to scratch your frame, it does happen. And we've just been round and put the other screws in there as well. And then that should be the engine pretty much in the frame. And it just makes it easier to handle now because, like you say, your engine's nicely protected. Clutch is on, looking rather splendid. And I must admit, I do like the detail in this kit. Really is beautifully done. A slight wobble on there, so I'll just give that a little additional dab. And then I'll try and let that go off a bit more, like that. Yeah, the temptation to do brum brum noises at this stage is really high, but I'm having to resist, folks. I'm trying to be good, so I'll just pop that on there, just hang that off with a jig whilst that dries, and it just keep it safe for me, like that. That's all it needs. Not too fussed about getting it in the exact right position. I just want it to dry out without me knocking it, because yeah, I can be a little bit clumsy. That's looking rather splendid now, so I'm happy with that. So we can get on and do a bit on the swing arm here. We've got the chain going through in a moment as well, but for the moment I can put the suspension spring in, start putting that in place. And I'll put it in just snug so that if I need to move it about, I can do. I can always tighten everything up later on in the build, folks. But at this stage, I'm just nipping it up just so that it stays in position a little bit whilst I then drop this up into the frame. Like that. Look at that. Springy, springy. Yeah. Nice little bit of a carbon decal going on, which will get matted down later on. So we got the chain on, looking rather nicely, and I've been round and I've just brush painted some of the detail in there and put a little wash in there, just so that it gives it a little bit of depth. And I'll just put a spot of glue just in there where I had to just pop the mud guard slightly, the hugger, so that I could pop the chain through. I've got a nice bit of rag down because I want to put some decals on the fender, and it just stops me from putting it down on the bench. There might be something on the bench and it could scratch it, so we don't want to do that. So I'll just put these on each side, and then I can try and line them up, mirror them up a little bit, and try and get them reasonably aligned. We said hoping. Yeah, it's just really coming along nicely, this kit. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Really has been a beautiful little build, and it's an iconic machine. I do say it's the most beautiful bike on the grid. And yes, Suzuki are now pulling out of the MotoGP Championship at the end of 2022, and I think that's a tragedy. I really do, because these are beautiful bikes, but I think they've fallen on hard times a little bit, and you know, it costs a lot of money to run the MotoGP teams, and yeah, I for one am sad to see them go. But we just line these decals up as best we can, just to try to get them looking almost mirrored on each side. Try and get the angles correct. We can then let them dry off. We then got another decal that goes right underneath the belly pan of the bike, which is just above my left hand there. So we'll let that soak up, and then we'll bring the belly pan over and we'll put a little bit of ultimate normal strength solution on there. Again, this set of 3 solutions is really top quality, I must admit. Normal, strong and extra strong. Available from the guys at eModels, and they are really are a good product. So you can't go wrong grabbing yourself a set of them, folks. Especially with your bikes and your cars, when you're trying to get decals to conform, you can't go wrong with them. So we'll just put that over there on the stand out of the way. Just gently rest that in, just so that I don't knock it, because I want them decals to cure whilst I do the belly pan. Like that. Like, easy, isn't it? So we'll get them decals on, and that should then have the belly pan finished, because once these have all dried off, I can then put the clear coat on top of this and get the bike all nice and shiny. So smooth them off of there, let it do its thing. Not quite ready, it's beginning to go. So look at that. Yeah, it will go. There you go. And we'll just lay that down underneath like so. Just like that. Beautiful. Yeah. And it's just one of those. Just this stage when you're doing your bike builds, when the bike starts to come alive, and it really is quite satisfying when you've done your paint. You sit there and you think, yeah, okay. And then you put the decals down and the bike just jumps out and gives you a slap round the chops, and yeah, starts taking shape, folks. So I'll just line that up. I've got the instructions just to my left so that I can see that I'm lining them up okay. And then I can put that to one side and let that dry. Right, what are we going to do next, folks? Might have to do some wheels, I think. We'll see. fresh bit of water there, let that warm up, and then we can do the wheels. So I'll just put my little plasticine on the end of this, and I use one of these little holders, and I printed this little adapter to go on the end with a ball of white tack in it. It comes in handy when I'm doing my wheels. I just press the wheel in there like so, and it just lets me grip it a little bit better like that, and then it will fall over. And then we can start putting some of these decals around the wheel rim, start letting them take shape. And we've got the tyre decals to do as well, folks, so we'll be doing them at some point. Just have a look at the instructions to make sure I've got the wheel round the right way and I'm putting the right ones on. So just give that a larrapin. There you go. And we put a bit of decal solution on there and start laying these on. So I tend to do one side of the wheel at a time, and then I'll let it dry off, and then I'll come back and do the following side the following day. So I'll time lapse that out, but it'll give you an idea of how these go on, folks. Decals just going off on the right hand side there, letting it soak. So yeah, nice Tamiya kit, this one, I must admit, the 112 Suzuki. A few of you are building along with me. A few of you have been in touch and said that you're enjoying the series, which is nice. Thank you massively for the feedback. Really do appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing your builds. Again, you can put them on the eModels Facebook page. I'm sure they'll be glad to see what you've been doing. There you go. And then we can start moving this around on the wheel rim to get it roughly where I want it. And they are prone to pinging off at any time, these ones, folks. So I've got a gloss coat on the wheel rim, and then I just tease it into place. By whatever means necessary, it will conform. So yeah, once you've actually got it reasonably where you want, I tend to give it a quick little brush and let the decal solution do the work, because by then you can get the other two on and you can then start spacing them out where they should be. We can just nudge that along like that, and then just turn the wheel slightly and get ready to put the next one in like that. And then just try to get it as in place as you can, so that when you put the third one in, try not to pull the first one off with your thumb there, Cole. That's what I mean. Yeah, I make the mistakes so that you don't have to. There you go. See, a lot of folks would edit that out, but no, I leave me mistakes in so that you can see that I'm just as human as the rest of you. There you go. Just lay that on like so. There you go. Concentration, folks. It's only because I don't want them to fly straight back off, because I will throw my teddy bears across the room, see, and yeah. So we'll just give that a little proprietary nudge with the scalpel blade, like that. And then we'll be able to then give it a spin and put the last one on. Look at that. Oh, nice, isn't it? Nice colour contrast, the black with the green there. Looks really nice, I do like that. And then just drop that one in. And then we can start placing that now. And then just bring it round, trying to get a reasonable distance between the three of them. As near as damn it as I can get it. drag that over and then just caress that down like so. Take your time. At the end of the day, just take your time, folks, with these. And you'll see when you look at the instructions, you can just move them around and get them roughly where the instructions show you. Bear in mind the tyre valve as well. Use that as a good way of lining things up for your first decal. See where the valve is on the wheel and then put your decal as near as damn it as it shows in the instructions, and the rest will fall perfectly in place. Like so. Just beginning to get there. Just needs to come round a frackers more. Look at that. Oh. And then bring that one round just a tad. Like that. There you go. I'll make it look easy, but honestly, I'm sitting here so nervous because, yeah, it's just as you finish that you go to move it, you drop it, and all three decals will ping off on the T-tail there, which you don't want to happen. So we're just letting it do its thing, and already the decal solution's drying them out, so yeah, they'll conform. And the beauty of it is as well is once they've started to adhere, you can then go round with your stronger solutions just to give them a kickstart and get them into place. And you do find sometimes they will try to, almost like a rope bridge, they try to hang down over the wheel rim there, so you just give them a little prod back into place and the decal will start to conform. And just bring it around so that you can get rid of the tightness there. And it's just because I'm moving them around just to try to get the gaps a bit closer. Like that. And I'm getting there. I'm just fussing a little bit just to get some of them edges a bit closer to the tyre. Like that. So we'll put that there and let that go off for a little bit. It's the same process on the other three sides of the wheels, folks. Same with the front wheel, both sides, and I've got the other side of this to do. And just brush any bubbles out as you can. Like that. And they'll go down quite nicely now. Yeah, really happy with them. So we'll just put the brush back in there. Put that to one side and move on. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. So we'll grab the next part. And see what we can achieve with that. So, wheels are drying in the background, as you can see. So we'll get the old airy stick out and see what we can do with this engine on frame, folks. I think we can do a little bit of detail brushing. So I've got me different pots of Tamiya here, and I'm just going to go round touching up any little bits and pieces and adding details like bolt heads and things like that, folks. And I tend these are all finned, these pots, and I just go around and I then highlight any of the detail bits that I need to just get to pop out. And this is a nice relaxing evening spent doing this, just picking out all the little details and just work your way around systematically, getting everything where it should be. And I'm doing all the copper and the brass bits and bobs, all the brake reservoirs and things like that. And you can just go around and bring them out, touch them up, and just start doing that little bit of detailing, folks. Nice way to spend a relaxing evening. Just picking out the detail. And I tend to use the lid there as a little inkwell. Nicely thinned paint in there, and I can just quickly flick it in there. And it's highlighting the detail just as I like that. So we've been and done some bits and pieces on that piece. Let's have a look at the instructions just to see what other bits need picking out on that. I've been round and done the clutch bolts as well. Done the hose clips. All the housings are done. Done the chrome bolts on the side of the engine. I think we've got some detail bits just to add to the swing arm and the chain, if I remember right. Let's quickly check what we got there. Let's put that to one side. We got a couple of bits to put in there where the adjustment is for the rear wheel. Just highlight that, darken that out so it makes it stand out. And it's all the little bits and pieces in all these tiny little pieces. Now I could mask them off and do them with the airbrush, but I do like going in and just brush painting these little bits. And it's, as you can see, beginning to take shape. Got the brake hose on there, looking rather splendid. So I think the swing arm will be pretty ready to go in. So I think we can go for a bit of a marriage on the bike and the swing arm in a minute. Yeah. Put the rear brake in, and then I think we'll go for it. So we'll just orientate that and have a look. Just a quick dry fit, see how things go together. Got the sprocket lined up. I think we'll go for a marriage. Why not? And get this in. The spring for the suspension just slots in that little gap there where the bracket is at the top of the frame. And you've got a nice long screw then that will go in and join that up. And then you'll also have a couple of brackets that join the lower part of the suspension arm. So refer to your instructions, line all your screws up ready, and you can go for a bit of a test fit. So I think we're ready to have a fit that can go on. That's the sprocket cover, that can sit in there like that. And I think we can get ready to assemble this bad boy. So let's have a look. A little bit of extra thin on there just to get them legs of that bracket to stick, like so. And then we can get the screws. Why not? More than happy with that. So I think we can go for a bit of joinage, because it's rude not to, isn't it? Well, let's just find the right screws. And I laid the screw on the instructions just to make sure I got the right one. Like that. Just to keep that going. So we'll just test to make sure I'm getting the right one. And then we can join that up like so. Like I say, once you get the first couple of screws in, everything just pops into place then, folks. So take your time, check and double check, and then you can then go round and tighten everything up as you need to. Look at that. Wow, I've done that look nice. Hey? Oh, beautiful machine, really is. Any of you out there that appreciate motorcycles will really love this build. It is absolutely a work of art. The Da Vinci of the motorcycle world, I reckon. Yeah, love it. Yeah, really have got impressed with that. Right, bit of the old tweezerage just to get the hose on the back of there. there's a tiny little lug that sticks out that you can put this pipe on. Just engage it in there and it will go. I tend to put a dab of extra fin on the lug, and then the pipe will just pop straight in. So just grab the other tweezers and get that in, which it is now in. And yeah, that can sit quite nicely then, ready for the rear wheel to go in, I think. Let's have a look. I think we'll have a look and get these decals just to conform a bit more. A bit of the strong on these, just to get them to go in, because you've got a slight transparent edge that's just poking out slightly proud of the wheel rim. And I want to get that to slot down. So I'm just going round. Now that they've dried on the wheel a bit better, I can go in a bit heavier with a brush and get them to conform. Might as well do it at this stage because the rear wheel will be going on at some point in this episode. So we'll do that. Grab the front wheel, I think, have a quick check on that. And get the same on them. Just that leading edge there that sits slightly flat, slightly proud even. And just get that to drop down. So that when you clear over it, it beds down nicely. Like that. Just creep round there like so. There you go. Put the brush over there for a minute. Pop the lid on, because you don't want to knock anything. We'll put a little bit of the grey primer on these clear wheels. Give them a coat. And then they'll be getting ready to paint. I'll tend to paint these on the sprue, and then when I cut them off, I've only got a tiny little bit of rubber black then just to put in place. So do them at this stage. Put them on a clip like that, and then do the other two. And then I can get them on the paddock stand then, and then that will make it easier to stand the kit up later on. So I'll do the other side. Nice even coat, and then that'll dry off and we can move on to the next stage, folks. It's all these little detail bits are perfect to do late at night. Like that. Nice coat. Get in all the little nooks and crannies. Like that. Then we'll keep that off to the side, and that can then dry whilst we're doing other bits and pieces like this exhaust. I know folks. So we're going to mask up the exhaust so that we can do a bit of bluing and that on it, and it's a similar process to what I did on the CBR Fireblade that I built for the guys at eModels. And I like to just go through, mask off these so that the welds are left exposed. Now the scalpel I use has got 2 blades in it, so you can actually cut the tape even thinner if you need to. So bear that in mind. But on the Suzuki there's quite a few thicker welds as well in a few places. So I've got a different stack of tape thicknesses here that I can have a play with. And then I'll see which ones I like. If I think they're too fat, I can always go back and put thinner masking on if I need to. So we'll just get that to conform. And then when we've blued this, we can then peel off the tape and it'll leave nice little shiny TIG welds all round that exhaust. And it will look quite nice. I'm not going to go too mad on the exhaust bluing on this one. Just subtle. Yeah, you heard it here first, folks. Festa's doing subtle. Grab a little bit more tape. And start doing the next one. Now sometimes the tape can start coming back away, so just keep going round and conforming it in place as you need to, peeps. Don't give up on it. It will conform. And you can use the back of your blade to get it in any of the recesses, and then I tend to go around with a tapered nailty, and it will then give it a bit of a press down, get it to take shape. So we'll carry on and get all the welds done on this bad boy and masked off. And there you go. As you can see, loads of different welds all done on there. So we slap the tape out of the way. And we can move on and do some tyre decals now. Get these on now. I've put a very thin gloss coat around the inner edge of the tyre, so I can lay these onto a gloss coat, and then I wet these down. And these are like the rub-off transfers for the tyres, the Michelin. And I line them up onto the gloss coat, and then I will just use ordinary decal water and start wetting the paper like so. And these have like a piece of paper each side that you peel off before you do this, folks, and you end up with like a thin bit of tissue paper. It's the best way of describing it. See, and then just spin the wheel round and do the next one. And you want it just to stick to the gloss coat. Get it in place to where you want it. Just check with the other side. And then go back in and start wetting the tissue paper. Don't brush too hard. Let the water do the work. And just keep brushing at it. And then eventually the paper becomes really transparent. And I tend to dab down on it like I'm doing there. And then once that tissue paper gets nice and transparent, you can then peel it off. But do it nice and slowly. And then that way it shouldn't pull the tyre decal back off then, folks. Like that. There you go. And I know James was interested in doing these type of decals for his Formula 1 cars. So if you are watching this, James, that's how you do it, mate. And then just go back over with your water and brush it down. And it's worth checking before you peel it off to make sure that the decal is actually adhering. They can come away, so just be wary of that, folks. And then just go back over and give it a little brush. Like so. And then once that's all dried, I then go back round and I matte coat over the edge that had the gloss coat. And it just mats it all back down, folks. So we're going to do a little bit of yellowing on the forks there. So I'll just give that a quick spray over the silver. And that'll get the yellow effect that I'm after on the forks there. Right. We've got the disc brake on. Simple glue job. And then we can pop the rear wheels in. Like so. This is all dried off for a couple of days, this wheel, so the decals won't come off. And then I'll just put the screw in nice and snug, like that. There's the exhausts. Now I went over these the same as I did with the CBR, with the reds and the blues, and then quickly gave it a dusting with a Tamiya weathering set, just to pick out any other little details that I wanted to. And it's given me, I think, quite a nice, subtle exhaust system now. Just what I was after. many ways of doing this. You know, there's a million ways to do these exhausts, but that's how I wanted mine to look, just nice and subtle. Now I can go in with a detail brush and just pick out any little bits and pieces that need to be picked out, and then I shall mist over the exhaust with a semi-gloss varnish, just to seal in all the powder and everything. So yeah, I'll just put a little bit more detail on this, and I think this exhaust is going to be pretty close to going on the bike. Hey folks, nice bit of progress today. So we'll just pick that out. Try not to twitch, I do apologise. And then we can just come round that edge. Just press on my finger to stop me twitching. And then we get our brush like that. There you go. All in all, I'm pretty pleased with that. Yeah. Nice bit of heat stain in there, folks. Again, you can go as light or as dark as you want with your heat stain, and it's entirely down to you. It's personal choice. There's good reference photos online and with the instructions that come with this bike, so have a look, see what you fancy. So we'll let that all go off. We'll give that a semi-gloss varnish, and then we'll fit that to the bike, I think. Why not? So we'll just have a quick clear out of my brush before I forget. Yeah, don't want to let me paint go off on my paintbrush. Put that away, and then we can come back and carry on the build. Right, what's next? Quick peek at the instructions. I think we can grab the engine frame assembly and just look at putting this on, I think. Oh yeah. So again, put the exhaust headers into the cylinder head there, and then line the exhaust up, and it'll pop straight up underneath the frame like so. Then just press them in place like that, and that does sit rather sexily, doesn't it? Look at that. Whoa. Hey, really like that. So we've got the radiator to go on, and that just clicks in place on the frame. There's a couple of little lugs each side, and then once I've got it where I want it to, and the support bracket and the hose on, I'll then go round and give it a dab with some extra thin so that it stays in place. So we'll just click that on like so, and then line that bracket up. It's such a shame that it goes over the exhausts and covers them, but hey ho, we know it's there, we know it's been weathered. Get me tweezers, and I can just ping that bracket into its locating lug on the front of the frame there, just where my left thumb is, like that. And that just gives that a nice bit of support, and then we just pop that little hose in the back there, and then we can give that a dab of extra thin to lock that all in. So we'll have a dab just there like so, and on that pipe that goes to the engine, and then a tiny little dab where that joins the frame each side. Come around there and do that pipe, and a tiny little dab just there like that, and then that'll all set now. Just give it a tiny press just to make sure, and there you go folks, that's the radiator on. That's the paddock stand that just sits up underneath the swing arm there on a couple of lugs, so we can start leaving the bike there. Probably be able to move the jig out of the way in a minute. So yeah, look at that. Right, what we got? We got some hoses. Let's get them on. That's the beauty of these instructions, folks. You've got the hose length on the instruction there. Lay it on there, get your nippers and cut it. We can start putting some hoses on here, I think. And they're all letters, so that later on when you join the hoses up onto the handlebars, you just match the corresponding hose letter. And you'll be able to put them all in the correct place, folks. So this one comes all the way through. Comes around the side there like so. A little dab of extra thin. And then we'll pop that onto its locating peg. Like so. And then we start assembling the triple trees and getting these front forks ready. Really surprised how far we're getting on this episode. Pleasantly pleased, folks. So if you are building along with yours, I hope you're enjoying it. Again, folks, if you want to grab one of these kits, head over to eModels.co.uk, slap one in your basket and grab it. I've got probably one, maybe two more episodes of this series to go. So you should be able to catch up by then. And we can just start now assembling these front forks and getting ready to put the front. I think we'll be able to get the front end assembly on this by the end of the episode. What do you reckon? Might as well. We'll go for it. So we just get that in place like so. We've got some front brackets to go on there to close them off, and we'll have the top yoke going on to give that a bit of support. So we might as well go for it, I think. Now on the real bike, these forks are carbon fibre. Yeah, carbon fibre forks. Our technology's changed. Right. So let's get the front wheel. Check the instructions. Make sure we're getting it the right way round. Just make sure. And then this can go on. We've got a screw that goes through the front of this to hold this in place. So we'll get this bad boy on, I reckon. Why not? And I tend to just roll the wheel in from the back there. He says dropping it. Why not? And then we can pop the screw through. Get that in place. He says trying to get it, chase it round the cutting mat. Oh, bless it. It's early hours of the morning, folks, for Festa, so yeah. So let's just grab that, pop that in there like so. There you go. Resistance is futile, folks. Right, what have we got? Get the screwdriver out in a sec. Just want to make sure I've got the right screw. Right. Other way around, Cole. There you go. Yeah. And then just slide that in. Like that. He says. Should we go for that again? Yeah, I will not drop it on this. Try me hardest. There you go. Like that. There you go. Resistance was futile. There you go. Give that a turn. Once it starts biting, I'll be happy. Don't over tighten it at this stage, folks. I only want this just to hold the front end parallel, and then obviously I shall come back because I've got the front mud guard to fit and all of that lot. So at the moment I just want to snug it up just to keep the forks themselves in line, and then I shall come back when I put the mud guard in and give it its final tightness. But normally where I display my bikes up high on a shelf, I tend to tighten the wheels up so they don't spin, because there's nothing worse than the bike rolling off the shelf. And yeah, we don't want that. So we're just doing a bit of detail painting on the top yoke there of the triple tree. Just above where the handlebars fit. So we're going around and we're detail painting those. We should do the brake reservoirs as well as the brake levers and all of the little intricate parts of the handlebars, the buttons and all of that lot. So grab your Tamiya paints out and get ready for a bit of brush painting. And you can do all your detail work for those. At this stage it's worth doing because then you can mount it on the bike and let it all dry ready for when you come back at it and put all your fairing panels on and all of that. So I'll just have a quick move around of my stuff and then we'll get the bits and bobs out for the handlebars and get them going, I reckon. Because we're not far off of wrapping this episode up for the day, so kind of want to get the front end on just so that we can see the bike beginning to take shape. And then that will give me time then, because I've got all the body panels drying off. That'll give us time then to come back and the clear coat would have gone off on the body panels and we can start final assembly. So yeah, been a really enjoyable little series this, I must admit. So we've got the handlebars there and we can start adding all the little bits and bobs to them and assembling this unit and getting that ready to go on the bike. And again, any little bits of detail that you need to come back and touch up, it's very easy to do at this stage. And it normally happens to me, a bit of glue will get on something and you need to come back with the airy stick just to touch up a tiny piece. Don't worry, don't stress over it. If you do get a fingerprint or any glue spills, don't be tempted to wipe it off straight away. Just let it go off, then come back at it. If you need to repaint, you can repaint it. It's not a problem. We all have happy little accidents on our builds, folks. So we'll just pop that in place, like so. There. Yeah, so want to do brum brum noises. So I might as well do the other side. Same process as before, just glue the bits in place. I got lugs on these, so the angle of the handlebars, as soon as the lug's engaged, will be in the correct place. You haven't got to worry about that. You can see the shape there. So, like I say, just glue your piece on. It'll fit. It can only fit one way. And that will then give you the rake of the handlebars that you're after. So, yeah. Like that. And then that glues up underneath there, like so. Have you a bit of him. Brummity brum brum. Yeah, I know. Just give that a little press, let the glue do its thing. Like that. Try not to stick it to your thumb hole. And then that is going to be ready to have clutch and the brake lever and the throttle and that on there. Might as well go for it, and so let's get them off the spruce. Get them on. It's really going to start taking shape then. So dab of glue there, get the caps on, like so. Quite a fiddly little stage with the handlebars, but bear with it, folks. Take your time, it'll come good. Just like I say, take this stage really, really slowly, folks, so that you can see what you're doing. There's no hurry. And your bike will then start taking its shape like that. Have you some of that? Yeah, really am pleased with this. Beautiful. Lovely. Hopefully the guys, when I drop this up there, they'll appreciate it, because yeah, it's a nice bike, isn't it? Look at it. Whoa. Yeah. And again, these builds are all in a cabinet underneath the counter at eModels, folks. Next time you're in the shop, have a look underneath the counter and you'll see builds from all of us builders up there. So yeah, make sure you take a selfie of yourself in front of Fox's Eagle Transporter and email it, or put it on the boom up, because he's really missing that build and we like mocking him. So we might as well put all these levers and grips on, folks. Get them on. And then it's going to be attaching the front end. I know. Brilliant, isn't it? So we'll put a little bit of extra fin on the handlebars there, and these will just drop straight in then. Just want to check to make sure that that's all going to line up first. Denub that. Quick little bit of paint on the lever. Sorry I'm off shot, folks. I just wanted to make sure whilst I can see it, because I've got a big magnifier off to me left so that I can quickly hold a part under it and check it. So a little bit of a nub there where it's come off the spruce. I just want to sort that out. And then I can fix that to the handlebars so that it looks rather nice. So a quick dab of black on the end of that, and then that'll be ready to come back and add to the kit like so. This is where I start talking to myself, folks. Yeah, don't be like Festa. Just check, make sure that everything's right, like that. See? And it was just that little brake guard, just had a tiny little nub on it, and I wasn't happy with it, and just wanted to make sure it was in the right spot. And I'll use my magnifier again just to twist the lever in place, because it's like a semicircle shape, and when you put it on the end of the spike like so, and then just turn it, and as it engages, it just drops straight in place then, like that. Look at that. Whoa, isn't it? So we're getting quite near to the end stage of this. So I'll start my wrap up by saying massive thanks to all of you for watching. Again, a big thank you to all of you that have taken the time to get in touch and have given me lovely feedback. It means a lot. Again, if you want to grab one of these kits, head over to the guys at eModels, eModels.co.uk. Grab one of these and put it in your basket, and you can build along to me with the previous episodes, and I look forward to seeing your work. So by all means, you can put photos up in the eModels Facebook page. You can also put it up in my group page. So yeah, I look forward to seeing it. If you'd like to help support me, you can subscribe to my channel. Details are in the description for that. So we might as well put the front end up straight in there, and there's a long screw that then will go through the top yoke of the handlebars and hold that in place. And you can put a dab of glue on the top of the forks there as well, just so that the handlebars don't pop off. But I might be lifting these off and on at the moment to do all the pipes. So at this moment in time, I'll just see how they locate, like so, and then I'll drop the screw in. We'll see what we think, but I might have to pop them off at some point to reach any of the cables, so we'll have a look for the screw and get that in place. And then again, don't over tighten it, just snug it up, folks. And there is a cover that goes on this later on, but I'm not going to put it on at this stage, just in case they need to come back off again. But look at that. Oh, brum 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 brum. You know I want to. Yeah, absolutely well happy with that, folks. Hopefully you can see that's beginning to take shape, and nice bit of subtle exhaust blue in there, bit of discoloration. So I think we'll wrap it up there for today, and I look forward to seeing you for the next episode, folks.